Welcome to the Spiritual Speakeasy, where the bar is always open and the spirits are always served. This is the Spiritual Speakeasy, and I want to talk tonight about one negotiation at a time. So, and I'm trying to find my notes because they're like out of order, and this is terrible, but yeah. It's been, it's Memorial Day weekend. I have been on the road for like a really long time. Let's start out with what's going on. I was in a Ninja 500 wreck. I wiped out on a 500 going 50 miles an hour around a curve. I have a fractured wrist. I have a fractured femur. I won't lift my leg up to show you that. And a 7-centimeter hematoma on the patella, fractured femur, and a torn calf muscle. But my bike has been refinished. And my son now owns it, and he's driving it, and I have a new bike. Yay! So that's very cool. That's what's been going on for the last month. I've also done the Unholy Trinity tour, which was Sleeper Mortuary, McIntyre Villa, and Malvern Mansion, which was just, oh my God, fucking fantastic. It was amazing. The information and the upload we got was phenomenal. It was really good. Hi, hello. Join us. So it was an absolutely wonderful weekend, but it was like a whole lot of driving, and I was supposed to be in a 10% lockout splint, which I was not, because you can't ride and drive in a 10% lockout splint. But I'm now in that said splint, and I'm in a wonderful cast because I was non-compliant with my brace, and I am doing well. So with that, we are now entering the whole podcast thing. So I'm sorry that I did not respond to podcast viewers last week. I was actually at Malvern Mansion doing a huge investigation, having a lot of fun with those people there. An amazing fucking place. Great beer, great people, great attitude, great investigation, got great videos, played poker with spirits, drank whiskey. It was an amazing place. Malvern Mansion was just undeniably an incredible place. Sleeper Mortuary, my shouts out to those people. Absolutely amazing. McIntyre Villa, which has now been sold and actually has been taken over by the new people. Stephanie was the host of the actual ticket holders for the Unholy Trinity tour. It was really, really amazing. Cannot say enough about that either. Great investigation, great weekend. So here we are at the Spiritual Speakeasy, where the bar is always open and the spirits are always sold. Always. Jesus. It's been a long weekend. The spirits are always heard and have their voice. And I am here a bottle in. Yes, I am. Thank you. 410, appreciate you saying it sounds amazing. It was actually great. I have no makeup on because I'm right-handed. I have a cast on my right hand. Makeup is a whole thing with a cast with white underneath. Have not even tried that yet. I'm trying to cut my own food and eat my own food with a right hand, so that has been a whole tremendous thing. And like I said, I am a bottle in plus at the Spiritual Speakeasy, so I'm just saying we're communing with the spirits tonight for sure. What I wanted to talk about tonight is that really thin, fine line. Okay, so I missed this, and the reason I'm talking about this tonight is because people don't understand that when they think they're in control, sometimes the spirits are actually in control. Oh, you look gorgeous even without makeup. Thank you so much. I am old as fuck, and I don't know what 070 maybe 11s is saying. It's in a different language. Cannot do that, but I appreciate whatever you're saying. Love you so much. So, what we figured out during this whole thing is that we are guided, right? And there is a really fine line between life and death. And there's a really fine line with the spirits. When I wrecked out on my Ninja, um, shout out to the LS2 helmets and to Scorpion gear because I was wearing professional gear when I wiped out. It saved my ass. I had a black eye for a while. Should have ripped my face off. Should have died probably. It was a pretty horrific accident. And spirits will come to you when you commune with them and they are with you. And luckily, by the grace of whatever you want to call it in your world, I was saved and I made it through. My equipment was fucked up. My bike was fucked up, but I was very safe. And I'm very grateful for that and have the chance to ride again, have a new bike, have a new helmet, have new gear. Just have to wait a couple months to be released from a wrist fracture and a leg fracture. Very lucky. But it got me thinking about what is that thin fine line for you? What is that thin fine line where you're willing to negotiate whatever it is that you believe in for whatever it is you want, right? Second bottle, by the way. What is the terrifying part about negotiation? And what most people know is that they know what they're doing. You're from Mars. Oh, I love it. I love it. Yay. Bring me up. Beam me up, Scotty. Take me up to Mars. So negotiation, crossing a line that almost never starts with an action. It starts with permission. When did you let whatever it is in that you let in? Well, I can tell you for me, sorry about the light, I'm trying to lean. My permission began a long, long time ago. I had a dream, and my spirits came into that dream. And in that moment, when we were sitting around a campfire with witches drinking whiskey and passing around a bottle, I made a very conscious choice that I was going to let certain things in. And did I know in that moment what those things were? I did not. But I was willing to accept and I wanted knowledge. So I went there. I did a Voodoo ceremony. Things were placed on my head involuntarily. They were not what I would have chosen to be on my head. But it's kind of interesting how things balance out in the spiritual world. The yin and the yang. And I had the equivalent to, if you would, Jesus and Mary on my head. And I had Damballa, the gatekeeper for the dead, in my heart. And I went with my heart, not my head. When I had COVID, Damballa stepped in and saved me. And I'm a firm believer in that. It's been a couple of things that have happened through the time span of then and now where I've been saved again. And I have to say, when I wrecked out on my Ninja going around a curve was not my fault. I was going around a curve underneath the speed limit and somebody dropped hay bale twine, caught up in my back wheel, locked me up, and I went off the highway, saved my ass. That was, again, Damballa. And it gave me the common sense and the knowledge, and it was Baron who saved my ass spiritually. It's always been Baron, the underworld, the dead. And so there I rode. Knowledge is forefront, and power is everything. And for those who ask, yes, I'm a firm believer in knowledge and the light giver, the bringer of light. And that's why I'm here today. So when I talk about the thin, fine line, that very thin, fine line between choice, consciousness, and just inactivity where you do what it is you do and you have no conscious and you have no understanding, crossing a line almost never stops, or never, let me rephrase that. crossing a line almost never starts with action. It starts with permission. So when you let spirits in and you let them know what it is that you want to do and you let them know what it is you're going to be, that's exactly, sorry, I'm also replying to schoolwork and people and various things. When you cross that line and you make that mental decision that this is where you're going, that is not really the action. That is the forethought before the action. And yeah, I made that a long time ago. I signed contracts way before this. And I'm admitting that because when you start with permission, then you start hearing what you sometimes really want to hear and not what you're supposed to hear. So does that mean that you follow a voice inside your head that is the permission you needed from yourself? Yes. That doesn't mean it comes from something higher. It doesn't mean it comes from something lower. It means it comes from yourself. Who do we ask permission from? And we've had a whole podcast about this. Who do we ask permission from? Ourselves. We should always be asking from ourselves, not from other entities. So you begin hearing what you want to hear and seeking validation and looking for someone, anyone to tell you it's okay. Be yourself. And once this happens, what happens? We start softening our boundaries. Our boundaries that were written in sand, the black and the white, the left and the right, that gray area, that fence post that we're riding on, right? We're riding on that fence post, on the skateboard, on the bicycle, on the whatever. And we're riding down that post. And then all of a sudden we go, what the fuck, man? Which way should I go? Left or right? And if you're spiritual or metaphysical, left is receiving, right is giving. Which way are we going? Shit, I don't know. Sometimes receiving is not so good. It's dark. Left-hand path is considered dark. Right-hand path is considered right. Good. Positive. Once that happens, the mind begins softening and we start softening our boundaries. You don't say, am I going to betray my boundaries? Am I going to switch sides here? Maybe. Maybe I'm going to switch sides. You say, sorry, page change here. You say, that's how humans work. Well, this situation is different. Maybe I need to adjust my thinking. Maybe it was me and not them. Maybe I didn't think about how this is going to be, but now I should. Maybe I didn't consider the fact that this, and this work differently. Maybe I did not consider the fact that I'm human and they're not. Maybe I didn't consider that it was life and death. Maybe I didn't. What if I thought it wrong? What if I thought it right? What if I didn't even think about that part of it? That's how humans work. That's how humanity works. We negotiate with ourselves emotionally first and logically second. And that is scary as fuck. Think about the workings of a motorcycle. Do you think that motorcycle gives a shit that the car behind you is going to hit you? Or that you're going to go off the road, you're going to get second-degree burns and blisters and things are going to happen, and the chance and choice that you make it off the road? There is no emotionality to that. It is all science. It is all relativity. It is all the motion of the bike. It has nothing to do with emotions. It has nothing to do with anything else. So when does the emotion come in? Sorry, can't see my notes. We negotiate with ourselves emotionally first and logically second. except for when you're in that a moment of crisis period. There are no atheists in foxholes. And I am here to tell you that science will come in every fucking time. Subconscious, science, theoretics, spatial reckoning, whatever you want to call it, it will come in because we know it. Whether we realize we know it or we don't realize we know it, it will come in every fucking time if you have any faith. And that's what came in for me. It was not like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be so sad if I leave my house, if I leave my kids, if I leave my husband. It's going to be throttle this, let go of this, hit this lever. It was very scientific. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lay down and slide. And I did because I accept that. But I'm one of those people that tells people to jump. You have the parachute. We've been trained. We've been trained from the beginning with our subconscious and our soul. So you just follow through, right? You just jump. But once that emotional decision has been made in a decision in a line, the intellect becomes a lawyer, becomes part of the system, becomes part of the knowledge. Not a judge, but actually becomes the lawyer arguing your defense. One of the darkest things that humans do is ignore what they have already known. So think about the Anakis and the Inkies and that go all the way back to the past that was erased from us. We have the knowledge and we have the beings. We have those entities in our head that tell us what we were and what we should be. But we don't always listen. And it's not because we're stupid. And it's not because we're hopeful. But hope becomes something dangerous the second it starts negotiating against our standards. And we do that a lot as human beings. When people break their own hearts, not because they didn't know, but because they did know, and hoped reality would bend them around what they desired. And I see that so much with my clients, and I see that so much with the different entities. They really think that they are going to become something that they wouldn't normally be. And they say to themselves, I would never, ever do that. Never. Because tonight we're not talking about something that humanity does consistently, but nobody wants to admit. Nobody wakes up one morning and suddenly says, I'm going to become destructive. Nobody just leaps over that line and decides this is going to be a dramatic moment where everybody's going to watch. Unless you're a TikTok person, and then we're hoping for that, right? Makes a difference. Big difference, really, when you're TikToking. And humans do this consistently. Relationships, addictions, power, sex, control, spirituality. We hear what we want to hear, right? We hear in our ears what we want to hear, whether it's in our head, our minds, our soul, our hearts, our bodies, from our partners. Because hearing the truth means we have to choose. And we have a choice. It gives us both ways, right? We have a choice and we have to choose. And this is where the fuck around and find out versus the follow through, the fuck around and follow through comes in. Everybody knows the phrase fuck around and find out. But there's another version, and honestly, it's darker. It's the fuck around and follow through. So people don't like accidentally cross lines, and people will go, "Oh shit, man, I didn't realize. I didn't realize I was following through, or I didn't realize I was committing to that, or I didn't fucking realize I was actually doing that." But you did. You did. In all honesty, you really did know. And people go, "Well, that's rude." Like, I really didn't know. But you did know. Every choice we make is a conscious, let me say that again. Every choice we make is a conscious choice. We make the decision to follow through. And following through may be positive and it may be negative, it may be good, it may be bad, but we make the choice. We, in our hearts, our souls, and our brains, make the choice to follow through, right? So I have to be specific in that. Fully aware, fully conscious. And this is the difference between recklessness and accountability, right? Did you own the consequences before you acted? Did you know what was going to happen before you acted on that choice? Or only after? Because the real follow through says, if this goes wrong, I'm still choosing it. So take it back to basics. Motorcycle. When I went from a Harley to a Ninja, did I know that it had speed? Did I know it was sleek? Did I know it was going to do these things? Absolutely, I did. Was I comfortable on it? Was I comfortable riding it? Fuck yeah, I was. Was I aware that what could happen to me happened to me? Yeah, I was. And this is straight out of motorcycle logic, not even spiritual. So let's move it to spiritual logic. When I go into a haunted, excuse me, I got the hiccups. When I go into a haunted place, am I aware of what could attach? Absolutely, I am. Am I aware of what I could talk to? Absolutely, I am. Am I aware of the damage that could occur? Absolutely, I am. And am I fully aware that I could take that on? Yes, I am. So start looking at your life as an active participant and not a bystander, because you are an active participant in your life all the way through. Do you choose to be the person you are? Yes or no? Do you choose to do good for your fellow beings? Yes or no? Do you choose to risk what's at risk to find out knowledge, which is considered left hand by most religions? Yes or no? Because knowledge is the Luciferian path and not the God path, as Christians call that. So, what is your choice? Knowledge over power. And knowledge is power, but I'm going to ask you this. Are you willing to accept the stakes that come with that knowledge and power? Because when you call upon knowledge, knowledge comes as wisdom. It comes as hard knocks. It comes as learning fucking opportunities. So do you understand that sliding out at 50 miles an hour and listening to your spiritual guides and knowing what's going to happen to you and you're going to be fucked up, is it worth that path? Is it worth the hard lessons that come to learn whether or not you're going to make it through and what you trust? People always want knowledge. They want the higher source. They want the higher power. Let's bring it down. Let's do this shit. I'm going to snap and it's going to happen. But do you stop and think of what's really going to happen with that knowledge? Because most of the time it is the hard way to learn. It is the wisdom. It's the learning experience. It is the penalties. It is the cost to your heart. Are you willing to learn the hard way and give what it takes to give to be part of that knowledge? And personally, I really believe that when we take on the Luciferian age, or we take on the knowledge, the light bringer, it doesn't come with a beautiful story. It doesn't come with, oh my gosh, I receive you and I love you. It comes with, are you really willing to understand that there's going to be a cost to you and your body and your system to learn this, to gain this knowledge? And my answer every time is going to be yes, because I want to remember the next time. Knowledge is power. So, do you own the consequences after you have acted? Fuck yeah. Most bikers will tell you, I own my shit. Yeah, I own my shit. I will. I fucked up or I didn't fuck up, and here's my knowledge base. Because real follow-through says, if this goes wrong, I'm still going to choose it. Yeah, hell yeah. Hell to the fucking yeah, I'm going to choose it every time. Because my story is my story. It's not your story. It's not a TikTok story. It's not a fucking Facebook story. I am here to learn what I need to learn to make it through the next time. No excuses. No rewriting the story later. It's not the big fish story. Oh man, I should have used this lure, and I should have done this, and I should have had this. No, man, I went out. I did this shit. Dude, I ride with a Japanese kitty helmet. It has no padding. The day that I wrecked out, I had a full level high rating LS helmet. Went through the helmet. Had a level 2 slide Kevlar jacket. Went through the jacket. And I ended up with a wrist fracture and a femur fracture. That is it. Should have been dead. War equipment. Listen to the voices in my head. Listen to my spirits. Listen to my guides. Cannot rewrite that story. It's how it is. I'm not pretending it's fate. I fucking got on the bike. I did these things. I put my visor down. I never wear the visor. I put my visor down at the last traffic light that was red. Save my face. Save my brain. Ownership. Humans do not always seek what is healthy. Whoa, do we not? We seek what is familiar. Man, I am an adrenaline junkie from the beginning of time. I love adrenaline. Mental health, level moderate to severe. Prison, moderate to severe. Level 5. Nursing, trauma. Stopped at accidents, did what I needed to do for people. And that's the brutal truth. I love adrenaline. I love the rush. I love the fight. I will hit first and be hit second. That's the truth. But sometimes trauma becomes very comfortable. Not because we enjoy the suffering, but we might. Like, I'm not going to lie, there's pain in truth. And when you get hit back, there's that adrenaline, like, see you did that shit, and I'm waiting for it. But because the nervous system recognizes it, it's that fight or flight, right? Familiar pain feels safer than unfamiliar peace. And I have found peace since 21. And I love peace. Peace is like the ultimate, right? It's calm, it's supportive, it's great. I love my house, love my pets, my husband. Love peace. But my body still responds to that adrenaline rush that it needs, because I've been in fight or flight since I was a kid, since I was 15. Familiar pain feels safer than unfamiliar spaces. So why do we do things like ghost hunt and paranormal shit and clean people and heal people? Because it's familiar, right? We get that rush. And that's why people repeat patterns they swore they would never, ever go back again and they had escaped from. Not because they're weak. Not because they're weak. Because familiarity creates a predictability. And predictability really like settles in our heart and our soul. I know this is going to happen. I might get hit in the face. I might have a gun in my mouth, but I can breathe through that because I know that. Like trauma, right? Think about your trauma patterns. Predictability feels like control. So people return to chaos and we return to intensity in toxic relationships, in destructive behaviors, in dangerous emotional states. Because some part of us says, I know how to survive this. I've been there fucking before, right? It's been in my face. And how many times have I said, man, I know that. I know that feeling. Fight or flight, fight or flight. Like, God damn, I know that. It's familiar. And I went to an OCM the other day because of my motorcycle accident. And they were working on my body. And they said, do you understand that the normal person, a human being that's normal, should have a score of 10 or less? And you have a score of 128. And I sat there and go, okay, right. And they're like, do you get what that means? Yeah, I do. My body is in a constant state or fight or flight. Always, every minute, every second, day and night. What does that mean? I've come to accept those things that are unfamiliar and those things that are scary, like in horror movies. Don't hide behind this, the blades and the cutters and the sickles and those things. Don't go into the shop that has those sharp objects and hide. My body thinks that's normal until things happen adversely. And then I panic and then I forget to breathe, which is really funny because my ITC and paranormal, my communication devices will always say, breathe. And when you get on my webpage and you watch our videos with Chris and me, it's always breathe, breathe, breathe. It's my spirits telling me no matter what happens, I need to breathe. That fight or flight, that sphincter that shuts down, that goes, don't breathe, hold your breath, suck it in. The vasovagal responds. We make those choices based on fight or flight, which gets really sick for some metaphysical workers because they haven't worked through their own trauma. And they're working on you, and you're paying them to work on you while they're working through their trauma. And they're holding their breath. And they're really thinking, I need to breathe because I can't make it through this. And when you think about that, that's where, pardon me, I got the hiccups now. That's where it gets really scary. I'm working on you, pulling off your negative attachments while I'm unhealed and I'm fully trauma based and latched in, responding to my fight or flight, going breathe. Now think about that moment right there. Hold, pause, think about it. That thin fine line where I'm trying to pull something negative off of you. And I'm in my trauma response with whatever trauma attachment I have, dealing with what I was going through whenever I was going through it, trying to relate to you in this current moment, pulling something negative off of you while living in the past and not healed from my own trauma. And I say that full-heartedly because just recently, like a couple days ago, I got the message from somebody that was talking about paying somebody a huge amount of money, working generational curses from 1350, and a curse that someone died of that went crazy, blocking someone's chakras, and the effects clear up to 2026. And this is someone I worked on who would not understand or listen to the fact that I said it was going to take time to work through these curses. But again, they were into the whole drama, trauma, fight or flight response, and not listening to that thin line. So then you ask the power and the loss of the purpose, right? There has to be a response. Turning pages. This is where it gets really dangerous to me. Power changes people slowly. It's not a fucking, oh my God, the dark side has cookies. Here, let me have a plate of cookies. I'm going to eat a cookie and I'm dark. That's not how it fucking works. I wish it did. We could recognize it, right? Black and white, Luke Skywalker and white. You got the Death Star and those people in black. It doesn't work that way. Power changes people slowly. Not huge, dramatic responses. Very quietly. Insidiously. Beckoning, calling us. And people will say calling us to the dark side. Come on, we got cookies, right? Like we have great chocolate chip cookies. We have all kinds of shit. No, it's enticing. Why? Because we are so in our heads about the other side, the light side. We've been recognized by the church. Most of us have been indoctrinated by the fierceness of religion and our parents, our families, our culture. So we think, oh man, like they're going to restrict us, right? The right hand man has got us. But we don't stop and think that, man, the dark side's got us too. It's not dramatic. It's very quiet. At first, the goal is good. We are going to use this power and this energy to fight whatever is oppressing us or other people. To help, to protect, to understand, and to serve. But power introduces temptation. Power always introduces temptation. And eventually, the work stops being about purpose and starts being about identity. So for those of you guys that follow anime, think of Death Note. I am going to take this and I'm going to right the wrong. I am going to right all of the abusers and the homicidal maniacs that are doing bad to the world. I'm going to put their names down in this notebook and I'm going to erase the evil. And then it became, I'm going to protect myself and I'm going to make a name. Everybody's going to know I stand for justice. And everybody's going to know that I'm going to take down the evil in this world and I'm going to right the oppression. What does that now become? Me. It becomes about me being the good person and everybody's going to know that I'm good and this shit's bad. And at that point in time, we've lost our power. The power introduces temptation, and eventually the work stops being about the purpose and starts become about identity. It becomes about who I am. You're going to know me because I'm going to speak out against this person or this thing or this being or this energy. It's about ego, and it's about proving something. And that's where people lose themselves. It's where we lose ourselves, our humanity, our love of grace, who we really are. It's not in the darkness. It's in self-importance. And the scariest part, the really scariest part about this whole thing is the person often believes they're still doing good. They're still working for humanity and the good of other people. Because the line moved so gradually that you didn't catch it within yourself. And this is where self-knowledge becomes so fucking important. To all those people who do not clean, and to those people who let their trauma bleed into who they are, and they give advice based on their own trauma, they don't see this line. They don't see that they've ever crossed this line. So what's controlled and what's chaos? Darkness itself is not a danger. We are taught from Christian religion that darkness is a danger. That's Christian religion trying to profit, monetize, keep restricted, keep control. Suppression is not wisdom. Suppression, let me repeat that. Suppression is not wisdom. And pretending humans don't have a primal urge creates worse matters. We are human. We are primal. We are animal. We have instinctual primal urges. And restricting those is not a positive thing in my mind, my opinion. I don't think we can let it run wild. I think anything in full-blown action is bad. So I don't think from a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the worst case scenario, letting everything run wild, 10 is not good. 0 is not good. We have to have a balance. There always has to be a medium. I think letting things like take over us is not good. I think anytime we cross that line is not good. Suppression is not wisdom. Lack of boundaries is not wisdom or control. Lack of honesty is also not boundaries and control. We have to be honest. Why am I doing this? Why am I thinking this? Why am I creating maybe this extreme in my thoughts? Sorry, I'm plugging in my computer because I was on the road last week and I forgot to plug it in. So I'm like doing multitasking here. Sorry. Whoops. Oh my gosh. Okay. Hang on. Can't do two things at once. And I certainly cannot work with my right hand. So like, oh, shit. Like, it's in. How do you pull these things out? I don't know. I need a tech support person. Hang on. Oh my gosh. One moment. Oh, I don't know how to do this. This is crazy. Well, where is my battery at? Look, settings, got it. We're just going to mark got it. And we're going to hope my battery don't die because I don't know how to do that with one hand. Okay. So the scariest part is people often think they believe they're still doing good. You go to these holistic practitioners that are charging you hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, whatever it is. And they think they're really helping you, and you think they're really helping you, but you go from one to another, to another, to another, and they're not helping you. Whoa. And I've been in this case. I have clients that are going from person to person to person, thing to thing to thing, country to country to country. And I told them what they needed to know from the beginning. It's up to them. Darkness is not the danger. Suppression isn't wisdom. And pretending humans did not have the primal urges creates more monsters. And what does church and state do? It does not recognize the monster in us. So, recognizing the dark side of us is a really big, important thing. Like, do I have a dark side? Do I have a shadow person? Fuck yeah, I do. And I'm willing to admit that I have a dark side. It's a very dark. My dark side is as dark as it goes. But I welcome it because it's part of who I am. It's part of who I will be. It's part of how I'm going to work with you. The danger is lack of awareness of where you are and who you are. It is lack of boundaries. It is lack of honesty. Whoa. And when you think about that, say that again with me. It is lack of honesty. I know me. I know what lives inside of me. I know what I am capable of. And I choose consciously every fucking minute of every fucking day to be a part of that. Good or bad, right or wrong, good and evil, whatever words you choose to use. Chaos will say, I feel it, therefore I must obey it. That doesn't suit me. Huge difference. Huge difference. I'm thinking more of real power is not pretending you don't have a darkness. Like, I sit on my doorstep with my demons and we smoke cigars and we drink wine. Hello, tonight's one of those nights. A bottle and a half in, right? What's going to happen? Well, we're going to learn. We're going to talk. We're going to be honest. Whether it's good or bad, whether it's informative or not, real power is not pretending you don't have any darkness. People think, and this is the big trend right now, get rid of your shadows. Eliminate your shadow forces, your shadow people, your shadow things. No. The dark has to be part of the balance. The dark and the light has to be part of you. Integrate those. Sit on the fucking doorstep with the bottle of whatever it is you drank with your shadow people and smoke whatever it is you smoke and go, hey, how was your day? And they're going to say it was fucked, man. It was a long fucking day. And people bothered me and I'm upset and I'm traumatized. And you go, okay, let's just hold each other for a minute and figure this out. That is shadow work. Accepting who you are in the fucking moment for what you've done and what you've been through and still loving yourself and each other. Integrate that inner child, that trauma that you've been through that sits in your sacral and sits in your root and sits in your heart, and you still go, fuck, man, it's been a hard day and it's okay. And the other part of you goes, you know what? No matter what happens, I'm still here. Let's just smoke this shit and be with each other and have a shot and whatever, however you cope. Because it's so important that we're there. And I can't tell you how many times I've sat with my inner demons and gone, this is some fucked up shit. It's fucked up. Nobody's saying it's beautiful. Look, I've got somebody here, Professor Toadstool. I love this. Hang on. I was just earlier thinking about the old practices that were done in total darkness. Yeah, man, nighttime, dreams, things that come to you when you're unconscious. You're in your theta or your deep sleep, and it comes to you because it's too much to hear in the light. I sit on my doorstep every fucking day helping people drinking or smoking or whatever it takes, nothing, and going, fuck, man, that was heavy. That was some heavy fucking shit. You went through some shit. I went through some shit. Let's see each other. See, two eyes. Let's see and love each other and just go, it's okay. We made it through. Fuck. And then allowing that demon, which is not even the word that the church has used. Let that knowledge work with us to support us and make us stronger. Knowledge. To Lucifer, the torch giver, the bearing of light. Here's the truth that most people don't want to hear. Nobody suddenly became destructive. Fuck, that doesn't happen in the real world. You don't all of a sudden go, fuck, I'm going to kill the world. That was a long time thought, man. You've been thinking about that for a really long time. Nobody suddenly loses themselves. Really? Like I see that on TikTok. Man, I lost my fucking self. I lost my heart. I lost my soul. No, you didn't. How long ago did this happen? How long ago did you lose your mom or your dad or your sisters or your brothers or your love for yourself? When did the sexual abuse trauma occur? Whoa. People don't talk about that shit. I mean, it's something we've all been through, right? Like someplace in time, one of us, sometime has been through that. It may not be person, place, and time. It may not be family. It may not be parents or brothers or sisters. But someplace we lost our identity. Somebody took control someplace, somewhere, sometime, and we feel guilt about it. So go back and think about that moment. And DM me when it hits. We've all been in that moment where shit, we should have, could have, would have done something different and something has happened. And that's where the power shift came in. That's where something darker than us, something like our shadow self stepped in and said, I will take over. Is that bad? No, it's not. It's survival. Think about that moment where that shift came in. Think about it. The line moves fast. One little negotiation. One really little justification. One really little tiny compromise at a fucking time. Well, if I just give this little bit of myself, then maybe this will help. If I agree to this thought, maybe this will help. I'm weak right now, but maybe not. Maybe I need to go here. Think about those givings that you gave for what you received in the end. Was it worth it? Was it not? Until eventually the thing that you swore you would never, ever fucking do. The thing that thin fine line, that thing that you swore you would never, ever fucking cross becomes very reasonable. Mine, I can tell you, mine was COVID. Mine was when I stopped breathing. Mine was when I threw a blood clot. And I realized the people with me, in the room with me, that were hoping for me, that were praying for me, that wanted help for me, when they start saying, should I call 911? What do I need to do? It was way before that for me. I had already made that thin fine line when I was sitting at the campfire drinking the whiskey with my spirits, saying, I will do whatever it takes to survive. That thin fine line for me was way before all of that. They just stepped forward because that line was already there. I had already made my decision. What is your decision? What is your factor? How far are you willing to go with your humanity and your soul? This is what, to me, religion and spirituality is about. People don't get that. But to me, it's what are you willing to go do? What are you willing to give to the picture? And how far are you really willing to go with that? So maybe the real question tonight is not what line would you never cross? Because that's a hard one. What line would you cross, or what line would be too hard for you? In life or death, when that moment of crisis comes and you've got a wife or a husband or children or babies or pets or whatever, and that line comes to you, how far are you really willing to go? Because awareness, that's the difference. For me, I have a son with cancer. I've not sold my soul for that. I never will. Most of us cannot know that until we are there. Exactly, right? You don't know that till you're there. But you do. You do. In your heart, in your soul, in your mind, in your conscious, you do know how far you'll go. And my mind says, I will never, ever. And I'm not judging. This is not a judgment thing. But I will never sell my soul for my son, because he wouldn't want that to heal him. But how far would I go for myself? If I'm on a bike and I'm riding and shit shifts and I'm like going down, fucking save me. I'm there. I am so there. Tell me what I need to do so that I can continue my work in your word. In truth, capital T, truth. Right? As we know it, truth. But my soul is never up for grab. My soul is where it is. It's with the contracts, it's with the gods. And I say gods. This was questioned this weekend. Gods or goddesses? Yes, I am female. I get that I'm supposed to sponsor the goddesses. Yeah, the goddess is the female. No, I go old school. I'm very old school. I worship. If I worship, I honor. Let me use the word honor the gods. I don't see a sex difference there. So I don't worship and go through the goddesses. I go through the gods. I'm very old school. And they take care of me, and I take care of them. So when it comes to life's lessons, I'm old school. I'm Nordic. I'm Luciferian. I was going to say satanic, but that's almost New Age. I'm very Luciferian. I look to the old gods and the old lords for guidance. I don't do new school. I'm not a fucking Wiccan. I don't believe in do what you will and harm no one. But I do believe there's consequences for every choice and action that we take. So awareness, yes. Know the difference? Absolutely. Perfection? Fuck no. I'm human. I'm never, ever fucking gonna be perfect. And do I try to be? Fuck no. That's the beauty. That is the absolute beauty in chaos, right? We were created for chaos, not purity. Far from it. Awareness? Hell yeah. Think. Use your brain. And I want to thank you guys tonight for joining me in this, where the bar is always open in the spiritual speakeasy, where the spirits are always served, because that is my purpose. My purpose is to walk with the spirits and allow them to roam freely, whether suicidal or harmed by themselves or age or deities or timeline or contract. I am there for the spirits. I'm there for the dead. Thank you for joining me on the Spiritual Speakeasy. The bar is always open. The spirits are always served. And I want to say this to my flight nurse who's going to the Philippines right now. Thank you so much for being the guidance, Chris, for how do I want to word this? For maybe changing the world of nursing and changing the world of healthcare one person at a time, because nurses eat their young, and it's a horrible profession for those who are trying to actually heal people, because that's not how it works. And I have learned so much from your videos. TikTok, Chris, the spiritual nurse who flies, and I love you so much. Thank you for all my people on TikTok that I follow. Aomori, for the goddamn the wickedness and the Satarian and the Luciferian thoughts of getting even for all those fucking people who work children and hurt children. And mostly, for those people who are willing to go forth and panda those people who are doing harm to children. If you see a panda in my name, the panda is a working thread to those people who do injustice to children. I love you all. I thank you all tonight for watching me. I thank you all for loving me. I thank you all for prayers for me, my family. I salute you. Thank you. Come back next week. It's going to be even better. I promise you. I appreciate you from my heart. And love to you guys. Good night.